borrowing first, and then you get them to get to zero and then stop spending.
Absolutely.
Because number one, you know, if you want to stop government and corporate control, then you got to stop them from getting tax revenue, and you got to stop the corporations from getting money. So you stop borrowing so that you're feeding the banks, and you stop spending all your money so that all the tax revenue and creation isn't going to the corporations and the government, and then they don't have any power to fuel a tank or to buy a missile and shoot it at somebody, or
and honestly, the
raid your
sense
house.
of freedom and just self-purpose when people aren't in debt and actually own their own lives and don't live paycheck to paycheck allows them to further that message.
Yeah, for sure. We're slaves here. The other thing I got going on, I mean, I tell people, you know, you could live in Iraq, you could live in North Korea, you can live in the United States of America. And you want to think that it's different, but it's really not. You just live on a nicer plantation, right? You can go to North Korea, you can live on a plantation where the plantation holders, you know, go by different rules. They're not as nice. They don't take care of their slaves as well as they do here in America and stuff. But we're still just a bunch of slaves.
I think we have the freedom to get out of it. I think we just need the awareness to where people realize that they're stuck in a situation that they can't help themselves. And once people can realize that, then they will get themselves out of it.
Well, no matter where you go, you're going to deal with the collectivism, right? And so you're going to, you know, governments are going to be governments. And the nice thing really about this country is technically you do have the right to purchase your freedom. I mean, your forefathers kind of fought for a constitution and died for it so that you wouldn't have to fight continual wars with your hands and your bullets and put your life at risk for your freedom. You were supposed to already have it, right? But we're born in later generations, and so the free people already took up everything that was here, and at this point, you know, you have to purchase your freedom. And so when they talk about on the news and they say, well, now we're in this much debt, and that means the child that you have born today is $50,000 in debt before the day he's born, people always wonder. They're like, well, how can my son be in debt or my daughter be in debt? They've never taken out a credit card. They don't own any money. They're not buying a car or a house. I mean, how can they be in debt? What they're really saying is it's going to cost your kid $50,000 more to buy you their freedom than it would, say, the day that you were born in comparison, right? The problem is then, on second hand, not only do they do that, they have people talked into not even buying their freedom. Instead, they talk them into with consumerism into buying a bunch of things that they don't need and houses that are larger than they have to have. And if people just thought about buying the land that I'm going to need to grow the food that I got to have, the shelter I need to provide myself, get that stuff, get it paid for so that I can purchase my freedom out of this capitalistic system, then they will start to feel what freedom's actually like. But this day and age, I mean, you know, man, the TVs, the short attention spans, you know, they've got people, you know, pumped into it. I mean, you know, my kids are out working the labor force right now. I'm watching my kids. I trained them to be slaves, like my parents trained me to be a slave. You know,
I don't think your generation should have. I don't think your generation should have to pay for mine.
I'll never be a slave.
No.
See, at the same time, though, I think our society
I'm
has
not a slave right
made
now.
obligations to some people, and a lot of people have been raised to rely on them, and we need to at least honor those to an extent. However, for my generation who won't be getting any of those benefits, it would be nice if we could opt out, but still provide for the people before us. There's really no safe or fair way to do it otherwise.
Absolutely, because they've already paid in.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you think about the money that they've paid in.
Frankly, I want to pay for my grandma to eat, and I understand that I'm paying for a bunch of other people I don't know I'll never meet, but the obligation has been made. They've planned their lives accordingly, and until we fulfill that, there's not much we can do.
That's right. Have a good night.